What do I do to keep my doodle clients still for grooming? If I had to use 3 words, I would say comfort equals cooperation. Keeping your doodles' feelings and needs in focus and satisfying them will help you to get your doodle love, let it be brushing, combing, blow drying, any steps of the grooming. Let's take a look at what kind of equipment I love to use, what kind of I don't really like, and what are straight up no way to go. Let's take a look at my collection. So the first thing I would like to start with is the ones which are not so desirable, and I'm gonna detail why. So at the end of this video, you're gonna see which one is the best and which ones are for what and how can you use them. We're gonna cover a method that will keep your doodle still and comfortable, and so you. So the first thing I come across is many doodle moms and dads are using brushes which have teeny tiny pins, like this guy. Given that your doodle have crazy amount of hair, let me say that, it's mesmerizing. It's like a doggy hair forest on the outside of your doodle and in the ear, for example. You need big guns. This little thing will not do much, except for puppies maybe, but even then, given that this guy has so many pins on a given surface, let's compare to this one. It has some doggy hair on it, but it doesn't matter. It's gonna be the same with yours at home. So whenever we are using this type of brush, it's not gonna be that comfortable for the doodle because we are going to use too many pins on a given surface, and that's gonna pull on the doggy's skin. Now, what can you do? Now, we need a brush which has less pins on a given surface. Now, you can go a few ways. If you're on a budget, you can cut out every other row on your brush, which hopefully has longer pins than this guy, and you can go from there. But you're gonna see another brush which is totally worth the money it costs, and it's gonna bring you so much comfort, and it's gonna be so effective. So first mistake what doodle moms do, using a brush which has a lot of pins on a given surface like this guy with short pins. The other thing is they are using a brush with a flexible head. Whoopsie! Now it came apart, haha. So the thing is, it has a metal thing in the middle, so it bends a little. Now the problem with this guy is, I like to take my equipment apart to understand what's going on in them. So the problem with this guy is you're not gonna find the tangles and mats. It's either not too flexible, or it's too flexible. Like this guy, I would say it's too flexible. So you're not gonna be able to tell what's going on by the skin, and it's just gonna pull so much on the hair because again, this guy has quite some pins on a given surface. Let me come a little bit closer. There we go. So quite a lot of pins on a given surface. I did the trick and I trimmed out the other side, every other row, so it's a little bit looser there, but it's still not the best equipment on the market. It has longer pins than this guy, but still it's not gonna be effective enough with finding the right layers. It's not gonna help you go deep enough the comfortable way because it's just not designed to do that. I have no idea. There are so many equipment out there which are not good for doodles, yet they advertise them to be, and it's just not effective. And doggy moms and dads are wondering, like, why is my doggy wiggling so much? And it's because they're not comfortable. The equipment what you're using is not designed for their coat and not designed to their hair amount, given how many pins they put on these little thingies. So let's see other ways not to go, or go on a budget if you must. So these guys have a little bit longer pins if you compare them. This one in the middle and this one has longer pins, and they are getting there, but still not the best ones. Why don't I like them too much? The reason is they do not have a cushion in the middle, plus this guy had a lot of pins again, and I cut out every other row, as you can see, and so did here. This one is a softer version, this one is a more firm version, same brand. Again, too much pins, and they do not have the little cushion, what I'm gonna talk about with this guy. It's broke, so you can see in the middle. So there's a cushion in the middle, and whenever you're working around the skin, this will eat up any excessive pressure, so you and your doodle will be super comfy. So that's the magic wand. We're gonna talk about it a little bit later, but first we're gonna cover the other ones. So in case you're on a budget and you have super gentle hands, you can go with these guys, cut out every other row, and then you're gonna get pretty good results, given that you're super gentle and your doggy is okay with a little bit of pressure around the skin. You really need to work your way to get the confidence and get the right pressure, because otherwise they're gonna go and wiggle and it's gonna be painful for them. So long pins, we are aiming for very, very long pins. Now, the other question I get all the time is whether these guys work. They are great. They have this little cushion in the middle, which I really, really like. They have longer pins than the little pink one and the red one in the beginning. They have more space between the pins, which is awesome. And they are great in case you're brushing your doodle every single day. No tangles, no mats are in the coat, and then this guy will be awesome. Now, why don't I suggest this to opening up tangles and mats? If you take a look, it's more, it's easier to see on this guy. They have pin balls on the end of the pins. Why does that matter? Now, it's great if you want to give your doggy, I call it a recreational brushing, a good scratch on the bind or belly area. It's great for sensitive areas when there are no tangles and mats. However, whenever we are trying to open up tangles and mats, the little balls will get stuck in the tangle and mat, and it's gonna pull on the skin. It's not gonna open it up, it's just gonna result in a pulling sensation for your doodle, and they're gonna show sensitivity signs like, hey, leave me alone. So these guys are great for just recreational brushing and every single day brushing for puppies, for example. I see them being very effective if you use them every day. I say every day, because whenever there are no tangles and mats, they're gonna be able to keep it that way. Whenever there are tangles and mats present, then we need bigger guns specified to detangling and dematting the gentle way. Now, I wanted to show another type of brush, which is a mixed one. For doodles, this side is good. This one does nothing, basically. The thing is, this is not good for, ooh, look at that. I haven't been using this forever. This is on a display in one of my trash bags I carry around for tutorial videos and courses. So this guy is great for short-haired doggies like mine, for like Belgian Shepherds and Dalmatians and boxers and things like that. But for doodles, it's not gonna do a thing. It's maybe comfortable, but your doodle will end up with tangles and the mats, quite a lot of them. So these guys, again, are great for puppies, every single day brushing and sensitive area whenever there are no tangles and no mats. Now, another type of brush, which is on the market, and oftentimes people like it, so did I, because the handle is wood. It's wooden, it has a wooden handle, they are tiny, so they can fit into pretty tricky areas like armpits and feet and things, but the little pins do not have that little cushion in the middle, and they are super sharp, so they scratch like big time. It's not even comfortable for me to do this on them. So they are on the market, you can buy them. They have crazy amount of pins. Again, I cut it out every other row just to explore experience with this. And I was scratching stuff with it, not alive stuff with a pulse, but like the ground to make sure that maybe they would, I could file it a little bit more so it would be more comfortable. No way. The other than having a wooden handle, they are good for nothing on the doodle. So don't buy these. Let's take a look. What else? We talked about these guys. You can get big ones and small ones, like this one. This is actually a kitty brush, which I really, really like on puppies, tricky areas. This has little balls on the tip, so I just use it on sensitive area when there are no tangles, no mats, just as we discussed with these guys. Now, this one is one I do not use. The reason for that is these are great only in case, I wouldn't even say great, good. These are good whenever you have tangle or mat on your doodle's coat, positioned in a way that you're gonna be able to squeeze the hair between the skin and the mat. Otherwise, whenever you're trying to open up a tangle on mat, and you're not gonna be able to get it between the mat and the skin, you're gonna cause direct pulling on the skin, and your doggy will hate for that. Now these little edges are super, super sharp. So you have a little bit limited area where you can use it to stay safe. And you really need a super calm and chill doggy who stands there and stays there. Why don't I use it? The reason is, oftentimes, you're not gonna be able to get that grip between the skin and the mat. And whenever you can get that, it's not gonna be comfortable for the doodle, so you have to change equipment. Now, what do? I use a shear, a pair of shears, these guys, because most often I'm not getting the room and I need to go to this guy anyways. So I skip this little thing and just go with this. Now, the thing with the shear is that even if you don't have enough room by the skin or between the skin and the mat, you're gonna be able to squeeze this little thing through in a specific direction, and you're gonna be able to loosen up the mat with little cuts in the mat. And let me just grab a little sample. So you're gonna be able to get, these are beautiful ear mats. You're gonna be able to get the shear between the skin and the mat, and then you can do little squeezes like this. Ding, 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 ding. And you can loosen up the mat, not this big, not this tight, but you can loosen up the mat and you're gonna be able to get to the skin area.